That featured Rick on bass.
Iconic bass part.
Yeah. What a lovely way to begin a morning. Good morning. Speaking of a lovely way to begin a morning, please silence your phones or whatever else you got to do so they don't go off in the next hour and change. My name's Scott. I'm going to be your host for the next few minutes. Tiffany is not here, well, obviously. So I am Tiffany today. We always start out our services... I was going to wear like a nice skirt and all that, but I decided that I'd be going too far. Yeah, and I need to have more hair. Anyway, we always start our services with an acknowledgement of the land on which we are located. So the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. And I believe we start off, yes, I got it right. I've only been gone a week. Donna, you're going to lead us into song.
I'll do that. Please stand and join me in Thank You for This Day. And good morning, Zoomers. Go, Judy. Go, Judy. That was our welcome to Judy. There we go. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, wonderful friends. My wonderful, wonderful friends.
All right, we're going to welcome each other, but I wanted to, shall we say, prime the pump a little bit. Last week we did a workshop on Today I Noticed, small observations that really make our day better, our lives better. Angelica's Friday message was about it. The column I wrote for today was about it. And I'd like to continue that because I'm finding it a lot, I find my life is a lot more peaceful when I get out of there and come back to here, where my feet are, and just observe the little observations. So in a moment, we're going to all read the affirmation, and then you're going to get up and introduce yourself to somebody and just tell them something that you've noticed that's nice. It could be, you have an absolutely lovely dress, Angelica. So it could be something that's spontaneous. It could be, Edward, you have an absolutely lovely dress. But whatever it might be, so to prime the pump a little bit, I noticed, first of all, I had a half an hour of extra sleep this morning, which I know really makes a big difference. And then as I was walking here, I was really aware of the quiet, because I only live a few blocks from here. And I was walking here, and there were two women on the sidewalk having a conversation as I walked past them. And they just turned to me and said, "Good morning." And it was sincere, and I thought, what a lovely thing, just good morning. And I said good morning and kept walking, and my day got better. And then I thought, I ended up here years ago. We were talking in our men's group about affirmations and somewhat manifestations. I forgot that many, many years ago when I was working in Southern California as a disc jockey, my life goal was to end up in a Northern California coastal college town running a couple of radio stations. I did not solicit this job. It found me, somebody totally out of the blue. And now I've been living here for 40-some years. And part of what I've realized is how grateful I am, and I hope you share that, for living in this area. You know, you look at the climate that's going on around. I mean, we are a climate oasis. and we have a mentality that we share with each other. And of all the places on this, I feel like I'm Humphrey Bogart, of all the places but of all the places we could have ended up, I am really grateful for being here. And I noticed that today and needed to reaffirm that. So that is priming the pump. What we are going to do is we are all going to say the first paragraph, and then you're going to get up and say something nice to somebody, introduce them by name, or introduce yourself by name if you don't know them, but just be friendly and tell them an observation you've got. Okay? Make sense? So here we go. We are a welcoming community. The wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of my teaching empowers us. Get up and notice. In light of the theme about living here, that ought to be fog on the water. Okay, let's move forward with what's going today. As a reminder, whenever I'm the host, I like to remind you, because it's filling out and it looks wonderful, and there were several of us looking at it earlier today. The positivity lives in the other room on the wall. And the positivity, there's a bunch of leaves that you can take a leaf. As a matter of fact, I ordered some and they came without stickies, so I got to send them back and bring them, get new ones. But you take a leaf out of the little basket. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Ari. So you take a leaf and you put a positive note on it, or an observation, or something you noticed today, and you stick it to the tree. And then the rest of us, as we come in and we're sticking things on the tree too, we read what other people wrote. And you get inspired. And if there's something that if there was something that was written in particular, there we go, that you like, take it, because more leaves come in. It's a tree. So I like to grab a couple of them, and the two I grabbed, this one says, find hope, find prayer, find rest, find peace, find love, find yourself, find Jesus, or whatever. That's exactly what it says. Okay, so that was. They got all that on one little. Fortunately, I have good glasses. And then the other one I also liked. I mean, there was, ain't no flowers without some shit. So, okay. We are a diverse group of people. We put whatever we want up there. Speaking of diversity, we have a lot going on this week, as we always do. It starts today, as it always does. Edward will be leading his weekly or his bi-weekly class, Music Made Simple. Do you need to say anything about it, short of show up?
One thing real quick.
Come on up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that for the people who didn't sign up, I had a couple of people said they would have, but something came up. This is Module 1, and it'll probably be finished within the next 3 weeks, and then I'll start over again. So anybody that wants to sign up, we can start that over again. Module 2 will be for the people who are in the class now that want to go on.
Wonderful. Edward, I love your dress. Again, you don't need to read music, understand music. You just need to want to be around Edward, and isn't that enough of an incentive? Okay, we have also, speaking of people we want to be around, Louise, who has been conducting a monthly class now for years and years, ever since, it's
quarterly, now it's every other month.
now it's every other month. Okay, been conducting them forever, for a long time, and the next class that will be coming up is the end of this month on the 29th. No experience needed, except a desire to enjoy art, and Louise will lead you in how to make art as part of that. The newsletter that Angelica puts out regularly, there's a monthly newsletter and then there's a weekly what's going on at the center. And if you have something that you would like to, if you'd like to be part of that newsletter, you'd like to write a brief column or an article or something, please see Angelica. We are soliciting more voices for our newsletter and for other events that we do. Practitioners are available. The practitioners who are here today are Susan, Edward, and myself. I don't see Michelle. So the three of us. If you would like to talk to somebody after the service, find out a little bit about the philosophy, something you'd like to share, you'd like some support, we are here to provide that to whatever level we can, and please just find us. The little pantry needs to be fed so it can feed the community. If you have non-perishable foods, especially if they're pop-top, please bring them and put them in the area in the social hall. And if you want to bring a whole lot, Walk in Awe is here Mondays from noon to 4, and she'll sort them all out and put them. This is something we've been doing for quite some time. I think this was actually Vicki. I think wasn't it you came up with, we wanted to have a little pantry years ago?
You know, I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, that's because of your age. Sorry, she said she doesn't remember. And
Angelica wanted, on her birthday, she wanted a little pantry box, and I think Doug built it.
Yeah, Vicki, you were going to add to that? Vicki?
I was going to say, if you had been in our class last week, you wouldn't have made that remark.
It's okay. I am one. What did I say? I forgot. Anyway, playful teasing. I've known Vicki for a long time. Let's see. Coming up next, we have got the theme for the month is learning to trust. We are going to now move into the meditative part of our service. First of all, Donna's going to provide a song for us. Jackson will sing us out of it. Reverend Angelica will provide the message. Edward will do the music, and then we will be back. Okay, all yours. Let me grab my water. Thank you.
I invite you to rest in your chair. Maybe take a nice cleansing breath.
Placed in my hands For the moment of peace today, I am reading from a book called Saying Yes to Change by Joan Borsenko and Gordon Deveron. I think probably messing that last name up. But anyway, after the reading, there'll be a minute of silence, and then Jackson will sing us into the invocation. So I just ask you to settle into your chairs. Being friends with the unknown, with the sure knowledge that we don't know how things will turn out, means learning to take refuge in the moment-by-moment unfolding of what is, rather than a belief in what may be or may not come to be. Faith based on inquiry, on the willingness to live the questions, requires us to be warriors of the heart. Rather than trusting in God to make everything all right, faith is a trusting that things are, at some level, already all right. This permission to let life unfold without judging is what gives our love a chance to flower fully. Faith is not a noun, a thing that we can know for certain, an outcome sure to please. Faith is a verb, our willingness to experience life as it unfolds in all its pain and all its promise. Bless you.
I see God in everything, in rays of sunlight and pouring rain, in laughter, joy through sorrow and pain. I see God in everything. I see God everywhere I look. In a raging sea, in a babbling brook, in one spoken word, in a printed book, I see God everywhere I
And what a blessing it is to know that the divine energy is within all life, in all beings, in all structures, in everything, is that one life, that one power, that one presence that we draw our strength from. And I know that this power is what beats my heart what allows my lungs to expand, what brings life to not only my body, but my whole environment. And I know it is true for all of us. And I know as we take a deep breath, as we accept this truth that we are one life, we are the power and the presence and the love of the divine, I know that we go out and inspire others to be the same way. And I know that this service is what inspires us. It gives us hope. It gives us seeds of knowledge to work with, to expand our consciousness, to open our hearts, and to trust in faith that all is well. And so I simply let it unfold in its right and perfect way, and so it is.
How can one look at a sunset or sunrise at break of dawn and never feel the Creator from which all life is born? I see God every time I turn to help someone else. I'm the one who learns that God's in everything I see. God's in you, and God's in me.
Thank you, Jackson. And now I'd like to invite Angelica to the podium to spread her words of wisdom.
Well, good morning, everyone, and good morning, Zoomers. It's so weird to think that it's almost September, and that, it's like, where did we have a summer?
Coming in October. October's our summer. It's the warmest in October.
Oh, really?
We've had record-breaking temperatures in the beginning of October many years now.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Then I don't have to wear a sweater in October. I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in Glendale, California, and it's been 90 and up. And that she said the humidity is really bad. So I thought, oh, I'm so grateful to live here. So we've been working on trusting, and as I tell you almost every week, I'm definitely still a student of this teaching. It's like it just keeps opening up and opening up and opening up. And so let me tell you that if you're new to this teaching, there is no end to the learning. It just keeps moving you forward. So one of the things I've noticed is that every time, ever since last year when I fell and broke my arm, I've really noticed something about myself. If there's a handrail, I use it. And my talk is called Letting Go of the Handrail. Before the fall, I don't think I ever used the handrail. I mean, I could move up and down stairs, do the whole thing without doing that. Handrails were cool, but, they were just there, right? I didn't necessarily need them. But after I learned that I could fall and I could hurt myself, that handrail suddenly became really important to me. And so I've been thinking a lot about this because our theme this month is learning to trust. And as I was thinking about all these things, I realized that fear and trust seem to live on opposite sides of a spectrum. Fear says, hold on, something might happen. Trust says, take the next step. So after I fell, using a handrail was sensible. And it was really interesting because I fell and broke my right arm, and I'm right-handed, so everything had to start being done with my left arm. Well, and I was thinking about, this sort of gave me stability to be able to use a handrail. And while I was using it, I was allowing myself to start trusting my body. And yet, I still use the handrails. Or I've noticed walking down I have a walkway about this big, part of the porch that goes around the house, on the side of my house, and as I'm walking down it, it's like I touch the wall while I'm walking down that pathway. One thing is that's where I fell, and my mind remembers that. But what I realized is that I had to ask myself, when did the handrail stop being support and become something I'm afraid to let go of? When did it become something I was afraid of? So Dr. Holmes calls fear faith misplaced. And I found that fascinating. What an interesting combination of words, because fear and faith may not be as different as we think. Both are looking towards something that hasn't happened yet. Fear says, I believe something terrible might happen. And faith says, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that the presence will be there when it does. Presence being capitalized, of course. Learning to trust doesn't mean necessarily getting rid of fear. It means noticing where we're placing our faith. So this, to me, became really interesting to observe why I was still holding on to the handrail. And then I thought, we got lots of handrails. They might be money, they might be a relationship, they might be needing to know exactly what happens next, or it's an old belief that once kept us safe. So I figured maybe instead of just telling myself, just let go, perhaps I could become curious. Why am I holding this handrail in the first place? Why am I holding on to this old belief in the first place? Sometimes we hold on to things long after the reason for holding it is necessary. Spiritual practice begins when we begin to notice more. And Scott's class about noticing, I've started out thinking, well, I notice everything. But it's made me more conscious about noticing. So I had this, I'm writing this last night, and I realized that cats are also my teachers. And Curly, the tabby, who has, somebody asked me, why do I call him Curly? Because his tail doesn't go up, it goes like this and touches his back. So I thought, well, I could take some lessons about trust from this cat. He has developed a new way of telling me I've spent too much time on the computer. He gets between me and the computer and walks back and forth, purring really loudly and rubbing his head against my face. And lately, his tail knocks my glasses off. I'm not convinced it's an accident. He doesn't seem to spend too much time worrying about whether I'll eventually pay attention to him. He simply assumes I will. And if one method doesn't work to get the attention, then he'll give me another one. He doesn't know how he's going to get my attention. He just has complete faith that he will. And I've learned from observing this behavior that trust isn't always about knowing exactly how something's going to work out. Trust is knowing that when one thing doesn't work, there'll be another way. Although I have to say that in Curly's case, the spiritual principle is, if faith doesn't work, knock her glasses off. So then at our gratitude gathering yesterday, we were talking about gratitude and aging. And first of all, those of you who have never been to one of those gatherings, these gatherings are based on the work of Brother David Stindl Rast. And every month we explore a different theme. So yesterday's was about gratitude and aging. And so one of the questions was, what elder in your life made a difference? And so I really had to think about that. I couldn't think of one at first. And then I remembered something that I haven't thought about in eons. I mean, just forever. I remembered my mother's mother coming to visit when I was a child. And at some point in that visit, she took me aside. She knew things were difficult between my mother and I, and she said to me, "This won't last." She couldn't change my circumstances. She couldn't make my mother different, but she gave a frightened child something that she desperately needed. She was saying, this experience is real, but that this is not going to last forever. And that, to me, became a handrail as a kid, something that made me feel safer, something that I could hold on to until I could discover that there was another life beyond what I was living at the time, which meant she was right. That experience wasn't forever. So that made me then, my mind jumps around, having a Gemini rising. That memory then made me start thinking about how important this idea is because of all the weird things that are happening in our country. These things are frightening a lot of people. And I don't think that spirituality asks us to pretend that they're not happening. The science of mind doesn't ask us to deny the experience. It asks us to decide what consciousness we're going to bring to it. So that made me think, there's an election coming up. We need to pay attention. We need to speak out. We need to write letters. We need to take actions, whatever actions we can, and we definitely need to vote. And on that table over there are some flyers that I put out quite a while ago that were created by the Centers for Spiritual Living about conscious voting. So take one of those home if you want. But I thought about this. It made me think that sometimes we feel that if we worry enough, we'll change the experience. Have you ever felt that? What we know is that it won't. Worry isn't action. So letting go of the handrail means letting go of our responsibility. It doesn't mean letting go of our responsibility. It means doing what is ours to do, and what is ours to do is releasing the feeling or the thoughts that we can control the outcome, or that we have to control the outcome. So what I realized that as I'm thinking about all this stuff, I stopped watching the news except on Monday nights when Rachel Maddow's on there because she adds history to it. And yet everything, you go on the computer and all kinds of things show up, and I try to keep getting rid of them, and part of me, because I just don't want to think about it. And then the other part of me says, but you must. You have to be conscious of what's happening in the world so that you can change your consciousness about it. And what I know is that this is real. The experience we're having right now is real, but it's not forever. It's not forever. So my grandmother's words came to me to help us all today. It's not forever. This too will end. No political administration is forever. No period of turmoil is forever. Life keeps moving and moving and moving, and consciousness keeps evolving, and we're part of that evolution. I was looking at the energies of this time period we're in, and I'm lucky enough to have been a hippie who went to lots of love-ins in Griffith Park in Los Angeles. And, we sang, we protested, but we were protesting with love. Protests don't seem to be quite so loving nowadays. And it does seem that people feel like they now have permission to do crazy things. I mean, the president's doing it, why can't I? Right? That kind of thing. But what we want to know is, what we want to remember is that our consciousness is what is important. Jesus and many of the other great masters said, it's done unto you as you believe. So we either spend all our time in worry thinking this will never end, or we begin to go, this will end. This too shall end. And we can promote something higher coming into experience, not just for ourselves, but for everybody. And that's when I started thinking about the fact, as I'm thinking about people that are affected right now, I started thinking that sometimes handrails are not just consciousness, and it's not a thing, it's another person. So my grandmother was that handrail for me as a little child. It could be a person in our lives that we feel sees us, someone who reminds us of who we really are, someone who says, I've got you, keep going. What you're experiencing right now isn't the end of the story. We can attract that into our lives, and we can be that for other people. I think that that's probably one of the reasons why we're in this teaching right at this moment, is because we can move not only ourselves, but the collective consciousness into a new place. So I'm going to ask you this week to do some things, to do some thinking, and I'll put it in the Monday newsletter. So one of my questions is, and you can think about it right now if you want to, what handrail am I holding on to? Do I still need it? Can I loosen my grip a little bit? And my biggest question for myself and for all of us is, what if letting go of the handrail means I trust life will be there for me, for us, whatever the next step is? And that life has a capital L, which means I'm talking about God, or Spirit, or the divine presence, or whatever you want to call it. Because I totally believe that this thing we're experiencing right now is not a forever thing. And I totally believe that there is within each one of us the life force, that energy, that is divine energy, that actually does whatever we believe it should. And sometimes that means it's leading us down the road of sorrows because that's what we're focusing on. And sometimes it will lead us in other places because that's higher places. because that's what we're focusing on. So remembering that it's done unto us as we believe, and remembering that there's always someone or something that will remind us of that, and that will help us move out of whatever we're going through, we can trust life. Somebody recently asked me, well, how can I trust it? And they're pointing to up there. And I had to remind them, it's in here. That life force is in here. And so why would this life force, their next question was, why would this life force lead me into these situations where I'm so unhappy? We have to remember that it's done unto us as we believe. It's that simple and that hard to understand. What I know for each one of us is that we are the ones that are meant to be here right now. We're the ones that can let go of whatever handrails we might have had from our past and start perhaps being handrails for other people. We're the ones that can move beyond that collective consciousness that's happening right now. And as each one of us does that, well, it reminds me of something I did up in Canada in a meditation workshop. I had them imagine that there's a big splash of water in front of them on the floor. And I asked them to be a little kid and to jump into the center of that splash of water and to see the ripples going out. That's what we're doing. We're creating ripples. We're creating ripples of fear, or we're creating ripples of faith. And I know that there is that within us that will gently, easily, and humorously remind us that we can do it through faith. So let's go into prayer. How grateful I am to be able to acknowledge that there is only one life. That life is divine life. That life is living in, through, and as each one of us right here and right now always has and always will. That life is both infinitely intelligent and unconditionally loving. So we allow ourselves to start believing that, recognizing that this life, in that unconditional love, will respond to whatever we're feeling, whatever we're predominantly thinking about. So if we're feeling afraid or thinking negatively, it responds and outpictures more of that for us to experience. If we're thinking lovingly, kindly, compassionately, it responds and gives us more to experience that way. So I know that each one of us has to make a decision. Are we going to live in fear or faith? And so I declare for us that we're choosing to live in faith, trusting in that divine presence, knowing that whether it's something with our bodies, something with our immediate lives or our employment or our financial life, whatever, that as we change our thinking about it, it changes. So I declare for our country, peace, peace, peace. I let go of anger. I let go of the instant reaction I have. I just let go and I remember that all of this is divine. So I choose to see that side of the divine that takes care of its people, that honors the children, the women, the men, that honors absolutely everything about us and is willing to do what is right for all. So I let go of the idea of conflict, for instance, between Canada and the United States. I let go of the idea of conflict in the Middle East. I let go of it all, and I breathe into it and declare peace. And I let go of that little part of my mind that goes, oh, that doesn't work. And I remember, the truth is, it is done unto me as I believe. So I believe in peace. I believe in kindness. I believe in compassion. And it is good, very good. And so I release these words into divine law, knowing that they are already being worked on, knowing that already the universe is doing its wondrous work. And I'm grateful for that. And I let myself, my hands, my heart, my mind, be a vehicle for it. And it is good, very good. And so it is. Edward is giving us the gift of music this morning, so let's give him a hand.
I'll take every hand I can grab. Good morning, all. Oh, yeah. If we want to clear this center out very quickly, that would be the way. You don't want to hear that. Okay, I'm trying to, my eyes are still not what they should be.
I declare that's not true.
Thank you. I will accept that declaration. You know, something that Reverend Angelica just said really resonated with me deeply, and it's also a part of why I chose the song I did. Reverend Angelica and my brother James over here. She said that, we are in this thing, by choice, and I believe that. I think that we all have chosen to manifest in this time period to experience and react to and create and change whatever happens throughout this life that we're currently living. One of those things is our climate today. James reminds us in men's group all the time that love is everything. All there is love. And so I chose this song because at first I didn't think it was spiritual, but when I thought about it, it was. The chorus is, how deep is your love? I really need to know. Because we're living in a world of fools trying to drag us down, but when they all should let us be. But we belong to you and me, and that's the truth. Love is everything. So, there it is. Get up if you want. It's all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Edward. The fifth BG. I think there were four, Robin, Morris, Barry, and then Andy, and I think only one is still alive. Well, and two.
Just barely. Two, if you include Edward.
Okay, there we go. All righty, it is now time, oops, I got to get out a book, for our, what do you call it? Sharing of our gifts. There we go. Use your words, Scott. So what we're all going to do is we are going to read this together. There will be plates going around the room. Please put in it what you can. Most importantly, please put in love. And there will be music while this happens, but we all start out by saying, I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. Boy, as long as we're going to be grateful, let's add the music to the list. I am grateful for the time that we are here. I am grateful for knowing all of these people. I speak these words in the first person so we can each say it. I am grateful for realizing that there is no separation between us, between these gifts, between the energy that we feel in this room, and between everybody else who exists on this planet, all life indeed. And knowing that I am part of a greater energy that is sharing love, that is spreading it wide, that we are going on forever and ever, I am grateful. And I let these words unfold into the universal law of mind, knowing that they are already manifesting. And with gratitude I say, and so it is. So it is. Thank you. All right. Last couple of items as we leave. We're going to need somebody to read our statement of inclusion. If you haven't done it before, we appreciate it. If you have done it before, we appreciate it that way too. We'll get that in a moment. But I'd also like to have some demonstrations because we do have a few moments. And if you're new to our philosophy or you just forgot since the last week, a demonstration is something that has made itself known because it is something that you had envisioned, that you had wanted. For example, realizing that I wanted to live in a Northern California coastal college town 50 years ago. That is a definite demonstration. Tina, did you have one? Your hand was up. Would you come up and share it?
Morning, everybody. So I had this wonderful realization when I moved here, like many people from San Diego keep showing up. But I had this really lovely conversation this morning with Judy, and we were just having this like kind of lighthearted conversation, and she just gives me joy. She has the best smile. And we realized that we had both lived in this one town in Washington, this really tiny remote town, and we were reiterating all these fun things. Like, oh, isn't the water so pretty, and and all these things, and it was just so neat to realize how you wind up where you're supposed to be. And you find your people when you're just least expecting it. So I'm really grateful for that.
When I was back in high school, I had a very dear friend. His name was David Gordon. David's parents were, immigrants from Austria. They were first generation. And they found out, this was in Los Angeles, they found out after years that they had lived in the same city in Austria, on the same block, never knew each other, moved to New York on the same ship, lived in the same community in New York, lived there for the same amount of time, moved out to LA, and they were introduced by a friend. So, funny how that works. Laura, you've got something?
Hello. Angelica encouraged me to talk about this, so it's your fault. January 14th, I broke a vertebrae in my back, and I had a spinal fusion surgery that day, which was really lucky. There was another person I shared my hospital room with, and she had waited 6 months to get the same surgery. And Angelica taught me about 11 years ago to notice when you're not in pain, because I had a back surgery back then. So every day when I'm not in pain, I notice, and I'm hardly ever in pain. So.
We got time for one more if somebody else would like to give us a demonstration. James.
Edward and Scott always have something to say about what I say about love. But the thing that the course teaches me is like when we're in the men's group. What is love there when somebody's discussing something that I might not care for or I might feel is against me or something? What it is just for me to think that it is and let it go and let it just be as it is, and that's love.
What a wonderful closing demonstration. All right, we need somebody to read our community statement of inclusion, and then Donna will come up and lead us in the peace song. Do I have a volunteer, or do I have to draft somebody? I got a volunteer right here.
Would you rather draft?
I would draft you, Louise. That makes it easier for all of us. So, oops, I closed the book on you. You got to do it by memory. There we go. It's right there.
I can do it from there, but, okay, I feel better with that. We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so that we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. Together we say, we know our blessed community is revealed more fully when we love each other well. Amen.
And I just noticed that when Lori came up, she looked at the platform before she stepped. I noticed Angelica looked at the platform before she stepped. And Louise, you did not. I noticed. She's further from the platform than most of us, so. I think that's a really good practice, and I do that too. I would try to watch my feet. Please make a circle, and we'll do the. And thank you, Scott, for the reminder to notice. Good job. I've also noticed we have tall people these days. Wow. As not one of them, I've noticed things like that. Here we go.